Hey guys, how's it going? So we continue with our paper November 2014. Okay, so now we're on question 17. It says John, teacher, and Sharai share some sweets. John and teacher's share are in the ratio 1:2. Okay, so John and teacher's shares, they are in this ratio 1:2. Teacher and Sharai's shares are in the ratio 3:4. Okay, so this one it's a bit confusing. But then let's see what they're asking. So express the shares in the ratio John, teacher, and Sharai. So here, the first thing that you notice is that here you're given three people, and then you're given their ratios to each other. So this one is John to teacher. This one is teacher to Sharai. So you can actually express everything in terms of teacher's share. Okay, so I'm going to write John here, I'm going to write teacher, and I'm going to write Sharai like this. Okay, so for John to teacher, it's 1:2. Okay, so John to teacher, it's 1:2 respectively. Okay, so it means John will be getting 1 and then teacher will be getting 2 like this. Okay, and for Sharai's share, you're told that they're in the ratio 3:4. That means teacher's share would be 3 for this case, and then Sharai's share would be 4. But then here the problem is that teacher, we had assigned this teacher as 2 here, so we can actually convert teacher's share to get the corresponding one in terms of this can get really confusing. So listen carefully. Teacher, John and teacher have this ratio here. This ratio could be 2:4. This ratio could be 16:32. It's still fine. It's still in the ratio 1:2. Okay, but then here you want teacher's share to for teacher's share to be corresponding to Sharai's share. Teacher's share has to be 3 here. So if it has to be 3, what you do is you can multiply by something here so that this one becomes 3. So you can multiply by 3 over 2. Okay, do this for this one, and then also do this for this one, because you're dealing with this 2 here. So the reason I am multiplying by the same multiplier here, the fraction it's the same, is that I don't want to change the ratio. So if I just multiply by the same number, then that means that I get to preserve the ratio. So here you actually get 3. Okay, so because 2 and 2 they cancel, and you get 3. And then here you just get 1.5. Okay, so 1.5 in the sense that 1 times 3 over 2, you just get 1.5 here. And notice that John's share is still 1:2, because John is getting 1.5 and then teacher is getting twice that, which means teacher is getting 3. Okay, so it's still 1:2. But then what you did here was that you matched teacher's share with 3 here, so that you can actually write Sharai's shares as 4 here. Okay, because teacher's share to Sharai's share, it's 3:4. But then the problem is that this one it's a decimal fraction, so you're supposed to change it again. So again, you can use any multiplier that you want, but then use the minimal one. Okay, so that this one becomes a whole number. So obviously you use 2 here. So the ultimate ratio would be what? Would be 3:2. This one would be 6. This one would be 8. Okay. So 3:6:8. That's the ratio. So this one was a bit tough, but if you go back to the start where I explain and then follow through, you'll be able to figure it out. It's all about, if you use multipliers here, you are not changing the ratio, okay? Because you're multiplying by the same factor. So the B part asks us to calculate teacher's share if Sharai got 24 sweets. So Sharai's share corresponds to 8. So 8 is to 24 sweets. Okay, so 8 is to 24 sweets here. Teacher's share would be 6. 6 must be less, obviously. If it's less, we say smaller number at the top. So I'm using simple proportion here, just primary school classic stuff. So here should be 6 over 8 multiplied by 24. Okay, so if you want, you can even say 24 sweets. It's still fine. So here 8 into 24, you get 3. Then 3 multiplied by 8, then you get 18 sweets. So I hope you're happy with this. Okay. So you get 18 sweets here. So the thing that you had to do, or the critical, the most important thing that you had to figure out here was to find out these shares here, and then to identify now to say, okay, teacher's share, what was it, and then Sharai's share, what was it, and also just to use a simple proportion. Okay, so we're going to move to question B2, the second part. So the second part asks you to find the total number of sweets shared. So here, the total number of sweets shared, you can either calculate it from teacher's share or from Sharai's share. It's still fine because you have a corresponding ratio for teacher, and you also have a corresponding ratio for Sharai. This is how you do it. Okay, so Sharai's share, for example, I can take Sharai's share because Sharai's share, we are told that it's what we actually calculated it as 8 here. So Sharai's share is 8 over this one, you get 9 plus this one, you get 17. Okay, so here this one you get 12. Oh Jesus. So this one you get 3 plus 6 here, then you get 3 plus 6 here, then you get 9, then plus 8, you get 17. Okay, so this fraction here, it corresponds to what? To 24 sweets. You want to know what the whole corresponds to. So the whole would be 17 over 17 here. So what you just do is you invert this one. So it becomes 17 over 8. Then you just multiply by this. Okay, so if you get a corresponding share and the number of sweets, then you just invert this one and then multiply by this. Okay, so 24 sweets like this. So here you actually get 3. Then 3 multiplied by 17, you get 3 multiplied by 7, you get 21. Then 21 here plus 30, then you get 51. Okay, so you actually get 51 sweets. What I'm going to do is I've worked out using this shortcut that if you want, you can memorize and remember that if you have a corresponding share and the number of sweets or any items, then you can just use this one directly. But then sometimes you may want to know why we do this. Okay, so I'm going to illustrate for you here. Let me just rub this part real quick. So the reason we do this is I'm going to illustrate now using, since we used Sharai's share, we're going to use teacher's share this time. So teacher had 18 sweets, and then teacher had 6 over 17. Okay, 6 over 17 is still 18 sweets here. So for the whole, you'd actually want 17 over 17 here. Is still more. If it's more, bigger number at the top. If it's bigger number at the top, it means 17 over 17 here divided by what? By 6 over 17 here. So this one I could have written just 1. It would still be fine. Okay. Then multiply by what? So this one we usually put in brackets. Then multiply by 18 sweets here. If it's like this, then you can say 17 over 17 here, then you say multiply by. This one now goes at the top. Okay, so at the end of the day, this one it just gives you 1 here. And what you have done through all this hassle is to just invert this one. Okay, so that's why sometimes we just take that shortcut and then just do it directly. And then here you get 3, and then again all roads, they will lead to what? To Rome. So here you get 51 sweets again. And then yeah, that's how you do it. This one was always a bit challenging, so I advise you to actually go back and then study this question. If it comes, it's most likely that most students, well, they will get it wrong, especially this first part here. It's very tricky. Matching these ones, these ratios, it can be a bit hectic. Okay, so study it very well. If you want, if you didn't understand it very well, then you can tell me, and then I can set maybe 2 questions. Later on, you can give your comments in the comment section, and then I'll be able to create maybe 2 more questions so that you understand very well. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video. Yuba out.